Welcome back, Creative Minds. You got L Train. We're gonna get right into it today. We're gonna talk about how to use life challenges as training to get to the next level. So a lot of times when we go through difficult times in life, we do the why me? Why is this happening to me? Why did this person lie to me? Why did this person take advantage of me? Why did I get laid off? Why did this company fail? And we internalize the negative. And instead, we should be shifting our mindset to look at what lessons can we learn from this. So if you told somebody some information and they went behind your back and told it to somebody else, now you've learned that you can't trust this person with vital information anymore. If you gave money to someone and they said they're going to pay you back and it's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you hit them up, hey man, what's up with the money? And now they're not paying you back. Now you learned a lesson that this person may not be good with money management and their word isn't good when it comes back to paying you back. So there's a lot of lessons that you can learn from when negative things happen. We just overanalyze it and we look at as a negative that's only happening to us instead of looking at what can we get from a positive standpoint. So it helps to reframe the struggle and not look at it as a punishment, but look at it as a reward. So if that person lied to you and took advantage of you, the reward now is you don't get to rock with them no more. The reward is now you don't have to trust them anymore. Instead of looking at it as a punishment, they've actually given you the green light to put that person out of your life, to not put that person in that situation again. So it's actually a positive reward that people kind of underestimate. And so what you have to start doing is start looking at obstacles and challenges as rewards to get to the next level. And to get to the next level in life, it often takes patience. So I want to tell you a story about when I was younger. When I was 16, I grew up in a middle class area, predominantly white area, suburbs in the state of New York. And when I was 16, a lot of my friends, they were getting cars. Their family would just give them a car. They learn how to drive, get a license, they get a car. I asked my mom, hey, can I get a car? She's like, look, if you get a job, you stack some money up, I'll help you get a car. So the first job I got was at this nice restaurant. And it wasn't even in my hometown. It was actually like 30 minutes away at this fancy restaurant. I was a dishwasher. So they paid me to come on the weekends, pretty much mostly in the summer and sometimes on break when I wasn't in school, to wash dishes in the back of the kitchen. So that was my first real job. And at the time, right, I grew up in the 90s. I was an 80s baby, but I grew up in the 90s. So I'm getting cash on Friday nights and Saturday nights. I'm getting 200 here, 300 there, because I'm getting money for the hourly and I'm getting money for tips. I'm thinking I'm rich at this time, right? 400, 500 bucks a week into a 16-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid, man, who doesn't have much. I thought I was balling. So I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to do this a couple months. I'm going to get me a cool car. I'm going to be ready to go. Not even understanding car payments, insurance, stuff like that. But as time went on, I realized that the money was better used when I gave it to my mom or I gave it to my grandma for the other bills. And I just kept it moving with some of my friends who had their own cars. Or I could take a cab. Lyfts and Ubers were not a thing back in the 90s and the early 2000s. They didn't exist. So you had to call a cab company or I would just have to walk to get to wherever I had to go. And as time went on into my 20s, I still didn't have a car, but I knew I was going to stack my money up and build my credit up to finally get a nice car because I didn't want to just drive a regular old hoopty. So I didn't own my first car until I was like 30. And when I first got it, it was a nice car. And people were like, oh man, you got a car now? They were so hype and happy for me. But what I realized is that because I didn't have a rich mom or dad to just buy me a vehicle when I was 16 or 17, that it was actually a reward because I appreciate having a car now. I actually have multiple cars. I appreciate having vehicles and having nice cars and having nice things because it wasn't just easily given to me. I had to stack up. I had to wait years. I had to work a couple jobs here and there, work some jobs I didn't like, work some shifts I didn't like, work a bunch of overtime. So I had money in the bank, so I had good credit. And these are just it's a simple obstacle of getting a car, but a lot of people don't appreciate things when you just give it to them easy. And that can happen with life and goals. If you get handed something or something comes very easy to you, sometimes you just don't appreciate it. And then the hard time comes around, you get a layoff or you get fired or your business is struggling, and now you don't know how to handle this adversity. People tend to fold and quit. So it's often going to feel like it's unfair, but it's actually the best thing for you because now it's teaching you a lesson. It's teaching you how to get better. It's teaching you how to solve problems. And a lot of people struggle with this. I've struggled with this to this day, right? I don't have all the answers to life. I don't have all answers to business. But I know that if I stick with it and I stay patient and I believe in myself, I can figure things out. And that's the ultimate goal to becoming a successful person, is taking your time and figuring out and not quitting when things get difficult. Growth often feels like stress right before success. So growth feels like stress right before the stress. So if you've ever been in a situation where it feels like it's overwhelming and it's super difficult and things aren't going your way, and then a couple weeks later it's like, oh man, I got through that, and now you feel great and you feel like you've achieved something. Well, that's what happens when you kind of get to the next level. It's like a video game. All right, so let's say you get a video game, you start playing, and you're on level 1, and you finally get to the end of the level, and you got to beat this, villain or boss. And the first 4 or 5 times you do it, the boss keeps killing you, and you got to do it again. You got to run through the level again and get to the boss. He kills you again, and so you try something different. You're like, oh man, I think that worked, and you try it again. I think this is working, but you still haven't beat the boss. And then eventually, after you made a couple of adjustments, you beat the boss and you level up to level 2. Now, level 2 is going to be a little bit more difficult than level 1, but you know that, hey, it took me a couple of times to figure out how to beat this final boss. So I know I can anticipate that for the next level I'm at. So look at that as your life. Whatever season you're in life, that next level is going to be more difficult. You should anticipate it's going to be more difficult. If you're going to make more money, more problems, right? If you become more popular, if you make music and you're an artist, hey, it's going to come with more issues. You got more people reaching out to you, more people who want to engage with you. You're going to have to pay attention more to your social media and how you move up and how you move about, because you got more eyeballs on you, and it's going to be more difficult. It's supposed to be more difficult because every level that you approach comes with more challenges. So don't look at hard times as a negative. Start looking at it as a positive, that this is developing you into being a better person. I want to tell you a story about this young man. It was a YouTube video I watched probably about 3-4 years ago, and I call this story the Mental Pushups. I don't remember what the young man titled it. So there was a teenager, and he grew up on the East Coast, but his family was moving out to the Southwest, completely different part of the country, and he was heading into his junior year in high school. So his previous school, he played JV varsity, JV football and JV basketball, but he was going to his junior year, so now this is the varsity league. So he moves to this new school, doesn't have any friends, doesn't have any network. He gets there in the middle of the summer. The school year is coming right around the corner. So he reaches out to the football coach, and he's like, hey, I'm a new student here. I played football at my last school. I don't really have any friends. What should I do? Do I have to sign up? Do I have to try out? And he's like, look, there's no tryouts, but there's a sign up. And so if you sign up, we have this off-season minicamp program that starts next week to show up and be ready to go. So the kid's like, all right, great. So he shows up a week later, starts to meet some of his teammates, but like I said, he's the new kid in school. No one really knows him, so he's behind. And the reason he's behind is because whenever you play football and you go to a different team, there's different terminology. It's almost like learning a different language. I mean, there's similarities to what you do, but there's different verbiage. And so now it's like he's a new kid in a new school, in a new environment, and he's got to kind of learn like a new language to play a sport. And he's struggling for the first couple of weeks, and he's realizing, man, this school is a lot bigger than his last school, and these kids are like competitive, and the school that he's at has a history of winning. And so he's realizing, man, these kids are better than him, and he is struggling in the drills, he's struggling in practice. So he goes up to the coach. He's like, hey, I'm thinking about quitting, but I don't know. I don't really want to quit, but I always like playing football. What do you suggest? The coach says, hey, he says, you know what? You're going to have to work harder than a lot of these guys. And he says, once you do some push-ups and hit the weights, everything will come natural. He's like, I've been watching you. You work hard. You show up every day. Just hit the weights, do some push-ups, get a little stronger. You don't let these guys push you around. So he goes home, tells his dad. His dad goes right to Walmart. He buys some dumbbells, buys some kettlebells, buys a bench so he can start lifting. Every day, this young man wakes up and he does 100 push-ups. And he hits the bench. And he has the foresight to document this. So he's documenting this on YouTube. Day 1, he's showing the workout. Day 2, he's showing the workout. Day 3, and on and on and on and on. So as the weeks go by, he's now rolling into the school year. He's playing special teams. He's not like a great player, but he's helping the team out. He's contributing. Halfway through the season, a starter gets hurt. And the coach is like, hey, man, you're up next. You're the next guy in the lineup. So he becomes a starter halfway through the season. So he starts making plays. He's helping his team win. And now people are starting recognizing who he is. He's becoming more popular. The teammates are inviting him to more things. And he's kind of getting his social status up as far as his school. So things are working out for him, and he's a good student and gets good grades. So the football season goes on. They make it to the playoffs, but they lose. And it rolls into the next season, which is basketball season. So he rinses and repeats. He goes to the basketball coach. Hey, how do I get on the basketball team when the tryouts? The coach is like, hey, I've been watching you play football. I know you're the new kid. He's like, to show up the tryouts, be ready to play, ready to go. So now he switches up a little bit. So instead of waking up and doing 100 pounds and hitting the weights, he now wakes up and does 100 push-ups, and he goes to the gym and he's getting his shots up because he wants to make the team. He wants to be a good player. So he does that for the next weeks, and he's documenting this as well for his YouTube. And long story short, he documents this for a whole year. So it starts at day 1. He's a scrawny kid, struggling in football drills. So 365 days later, he's like 2-3 inches taller. He's stronger. He's more confident. He's got a girlfriend in high school now, his friends. He's got a good social group of friends who play sports and good grades, and they stay out of trouble. They're not with the bullshit. So his life just took off in 1 year. And I call that story the Mental Pushups because it really isn't about the push-ups and the weights that he did every morning. Is that he did something consistent every day. It was part of the lifestyle of being an athlete, whether it's high school, college, professional. You have to work on your craft. You have to do the things that are very simple, that are very ordinary, that most people overlook and they quit on because it can be difficult. Working out every day can be very difficult for a lot of people. But even if you do it for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, if you just keep the momentum going, you're going to be on the right path. And so now I took that mindset and I apply it to other things. So I made this video because today, this is my mental push-up. I've been making YouTube videos for the past couple of months consistently, a couple videos every week for the past couple of months. And at this time of this video, I don't have a lot of subscribers. I don't get a lot of engagement. And what I've noticed is a lot of people struggle with YouTube, quit when they don't have a lot of views. They quit when they don't have a lot of subs. But if you quit, all it does is guarantee you failure. That's all it does, is just guarantees you failure. So now I'm looking at it as failure is an opportunity in disguise. So just show up and do the reps. Just show up. So today, this is my video. I had to show up and I had to get the rep in. I had to get my YouTube rep in. And that's the mindset that I like to promote. That's the mindset that I like to talk about on this type of channel, because we all have difficulties. We all have challenges. We all have obstacles in life. And if we complain about it and say it's unfair and why me, because of, I don't have this or I don't have that, we need to focus on what we do have. What do you have that's going on in your life? What are you good at? What are your likes? What are the things that make you excited to get up every morning? That's the thing you need to focus on. That's the thing you need to invest in. Invest in yourself, because 1 year could change your life. 1 year of you being consistent, whether it's in making music, whether it's writing a book, whether it's you at your job or starting a company, or you got a side hustle you're trying to scale up, man, 1 year could change your life if you stick with it. So if you're watching this video and this video has brought you some value, man, hit the like button, throw a comment in. Everything is appreciated here on this channel. Subscribe to The Vibe. This is your guy L Train. This is the message for today. Keep going, never give up. Peace. We out.